Hi everyone, welcome to my super easy beginners flowers playlist and tutorials. So today we're going to have a go at some loose delphiniums using just three colours. So we're using rose madder, gamboge and cobalt blue. So let's crack on with the tutorial. Okay, so we're going to tackle some delphiniums today. No drawing required. I'm just using my round number 10 just to pop a bit of water in and just replenish these planes. So this is gamboge yellow. Up until now the mixes have been quite diluted. This one I'm making a bit thicker. I want the colours to stand a little bit stronger. So the colours still need to be consistent because we're doing a wet and wet wash. We don't want them to fight against one another. This is rose madder. Rose madder tends to be a bit of a weaker colour, so I'm taking a bit more in. That's pretty consistent. Consistent thickness. When I'm saying consistent, it's consistent thickness. I'm reusing the colours from the rest of the series here, so please do look up the series if you haven't seen it. Okay, so that's cobalt blue. Can you see that they are all consistent in mix, and that's what we're looking for. I've also got some clean film that I've got ready prepared to go on. Rinsed my brush out. I'm going to dip into some clean water. I'm using a Saunders Waterford paper. It's a cotton paper, it gives me lots of time, soaks up lots of water. If you're using a wood pulp paper or a different paper, you just got to get an even sheen on. By even I mean no puddles and a nice shine. So this is a round number 10 that I'm going to use. And I'm going to start just with a little bit of a cobalt blue background. So I'm just dabbing in a little bit of a circular motion, leaving odd gaps of white. This nice and subtle. I'm going to dip straight into the gamboge yellow and just create a little bit of a base just at the bottom. You'll notice I'm not popping my brush back into the water. I'm blending as I go with these colours. So this is a little bit more of the cobalt blue going in. And rinse that brush off and pop it to the side. I'm now going to go smaller. So this is a round number 6, just checking it's clean, taking the excess water off. And I'm going to come in and start to create some cone type shapes. You'll see that I'm leaving gaps in between. I'm going to do 3. Odds work better. So 3 and 5 or 1 always works better. I've got smaller as I'm coming into the background. So the height's changed and the width's changed a little bit. The smaller they get, the harder it is for you to leave those little bits of a gap. Rinse my brush out, dab it off. I'm going to come into some neat cobalt blue. And I'm going to dab that in. It's going to shoot around. I'm not playing with it too much. I want it to do its thing. You dab it on, you leave it. The more you fiddle, the more you blend. It's about learning to let the watercolour do its own thing. I'm actually going to bring a little bit further down. So they get a nicer base there as well. So you can see all those blends happening. It's really lovely. And they're going to take some pieces of cling film. I've tried to make them smaller. And you want to scrunch them up. And what we're going to do is we're going to add texture to the two in front. So that obviously means you've got to only hit these two, or try to only hit these two. So by scrunching, you should be able to do it. Smaller bits. So that's that one on. Just have some bits ready prepared. And if you sort of scrunch inwards, you get some really nice, interesting textures. I'm going to try and lift it off the grassy bits. And that one in the background, I'm going to leave totally blank because I want that to be less textured. It gives a sense of distance. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. Okay, so when it's had 10 minutes, most of it will have settled. And I just want you to carefully peel and check whether you've got texture. If it runs back, that means you need to stick it back on and leave it. You'll get to a point that you can carefully peel it off and you get some really lovely texture. So I can just dry that off now. Okay, so that's nicely dry. I've got some really lovely texture. I'm going to work with this now. So I'm going to use some of the cobalt blue and just dot in. So this is my round number 6. I do not want to eliminate everything I've got that's random. Random works wonderfully. I also don't want to come all the way over the softness. So it's about creating petals that work. So I'm going to take extra little bits in. So little dabs that come together. So there might be 3 dabs, there might be 1 dab. Basically, I want every single one to be unique and different that I'm bringing on. I'm focusing on the outside edge. This is just with the cobalt blue and my number 6 brush. See here, I've got some beautiful texture, so I've just taken one in the middle of it. Little one there. Work with the random. I'm going to take just a few within the centre. Might be an odd dab. You want balance of light, so not too much. That's plenty in that one. Then I'm going to do the same in this one, but less. So we're getting softer as we go backwards. If I do a full outline the same as this one, then it won't feel like it's any more distant. So I've just got to pick out little bits. Less is more. I say this often. Just a little bit up towards the top. This side's not quite as dark. I think it might be slightly damp still, so I'm just taking an extra little bit of paint in there. And then looking at this one, I'm going to do a lot less. And what I'm going to do is just a little smudge like this, little wiggly smudge, and then I'm just going to wet that one side. So there's a little bit of definition there, but also a lot of soft. So it just really works. And when you do that and then you pull it against this one, it helps that one stand out in front. So the fact you've got that as a full patch helps that one stand forward. If I take a dab of that yellow into that leftover blue, I'm going to get a really nice green. Then I can just bring in a stem. Bring in another stem. So those stems can get thinner as they go away. So this one can be thicker, thinner, thinner and smaller. You can dot through a little bit of the green in places on these front two. That will hold together quite nicely. And then we're going to start to just create a little bit of a delphinium leaf shape. You don't need a lot in here. They're quite sort of floaty leaves. I'm going to take a few little bits either side just to hold that together. If I just dab a little bit into the blue, what I want is for that to ground into there. It looks like I can see it hovering. So I'm just taking a little bit of blue just at the bottom of that, just so that there's a bit of shadow to hold that bit together. So I'll dry this one off. That's nicely dry. There's just a couple more tweaks now, and it's all about giving a sense of distance. So I'm going to come into some neat cobalt blue, and within those little dabs that I've done on this front flower, I'm going to add little random dabs of dark. So this is all about bringing this forward by making it darker than that one here, and then that one is further back because there's less definition in it. So it's just really all about the little tricks you can do to give that sense of distance and depth. So every one of these little dabs that I've done, I'm taking a little bit of neat cobalt blue in now. And that's going to make it bolder and different to the one next to it. And bring that forward. Nice and simple, just nice simple ideas for you to execute and have a go at. And then because this is a bigger stem, I'm just going to bring a little bit of shadow into it. A tiny little bit down that side as well. And again, that's making a difference between each of them so that they stand forward. So there we go, I've taken the tape off. You can see that you've got a real nice sense of distance between each of those. A nice pretty delphinium scene using those same three colours again. If you've enjoyed it, please do like, subscribe and share, and I'll pop a link to the playlist just down here, and I'll see you next time.